Hello and welcome to Dream Team Coach TV. I'm Sean Burke. Joining me is a very sad Graham Marshall, Henry Lewintit, and Jack Townsend. Coming up on this week's show. It's okay.
Whoever's in charge of like the booking agent for Boxpark, like
They can take a bouncer.
They've done a great job. What a tournament for them. You can understand why it's only a yellow in football. But if it happens off the pitch, he's going to jail.
Yeah.
I'm just curious about this ghost train. How does that even happen? Did you pay money for this train that doesn't exist?
A lot of money.
Oh, yeah. In an alternate universe, right? Southgate brings two, phenomenal penalty takers onto the pitch, 4 penalties, and he looks like a genius because we win.
I love you, Rashford.
The Euros have come to an end and Italy have been crowned champions of Europe. It's not coming home, but according to the Italy squad, it is coming Rome. But most of the chat right now is about the choice of penalty takers, with Saka, a player only 19 years old, tasked with taking the 5th penalty. That's more pressure than for the guy who has to drive the tiny car onto the pitch. Personally, I just feel really bad for Saka.
I feel bad for all three of them. Rashford, Saka and Sancho. I especially for Rashford and Sancho, they obviously put their names forward, said, yeah, we want to take one. But, it must have been near on both their first kicks of the ball.
Yeah, they barely got any chances, did they, when they came on?
Yeah, but I think, look at it the other way, right? That's 3 players who were, 23 and under. Rashford's the oldest of the 3, who have got that experience now to take forward to 2-3 tournaments in the future, right?
There's not really a better manager to have at the moment when you've just missed a penalty. He can tell you what it's like. He can tell you what, who knows what you're going through.
A lot of people are saying that, there should have been more experienced players in there taking those kicks. I was surprised to see Saka go up for that one of all. The last one. How does it work? Do the players just put their hands up and say, I'm going to take one?
Well, what Southgate was saying was that he picked the penalty takers from what he'd seen in training. And so presumably Sancho and Rashford had been working hard on their penalties and training, and they'd been putting them in every time. And so that the decision rests with him. You can argue that the fault lies with him, if you like, more so than the players.
Rashford's taken high pressure penalties before. He scored one in Colombia. He scored that last minute goal in the Champions League with Manchester United as well against PSG. He's a good penalty taker. I was backing him to score, and it's such fine margins. It's just like he tries to do too much with it. It's like the keeper's gone the wrong way. He's won that. Yeah. He just needs to slot it anywhere to the keeper's right hand side. Doesn't need to be right in the corner.
On the other hand, Harry Maguire's penalty was like,
oh. Man of the match for England last night. I think it's probably between him, Rice, or Shaw, right?
Yeah. I would say it's potentially Rice for that first half.
Yeah, he was unreal.
He got star man anyway on Dream Team.
Yeah, there we go.
Twice, but he was everywhere. Jack, where did you watch the match last night?
So I had a bit of an ordeal for watching the game. I had planned to watch it down the pub with my friends, but I was travelling back from Cornwall from a wedding. Turned up to the station at 11:30. Loads of time, obviously, before the game, only to find out that the train that I'd booked didn't exist. That it hadn't been cancelled. It just didn't exist. No one knew about it.
What?
Nothing. Yeah, just doesn't exist. And I think there was about 6 of us all wanting that train. So thankfully there was a friend of ours was driving back from the wedding. So got a lift to Reading, then from Reading got a train, but then got off at the wrong station, a place called Tapwell or Tapworth or something. So that was at about 7:10 that we got off there. So I think we got to a friend's house for about 8:30 was time. So that is not how I envisaged final day, but it's a story and it was an adventure.
I'm just curious about this ghost train. How does that even happen? Did you pay money for this train that doesn't exist?
A lot of money.
Well,
very, very expensive, and the train doesn't exist. You know what the worst bit was? I got to Paddington waiting for an Uber. Uber pulls up, and all I hear is this massive roar from the
Oh
pub,
no!
and it was the first goal, and literally that was the best bit of the whole game. Being an England fan, and I missed it.
Mate,
man, you've had a nightmare.
It's one of these things that, because I mean, you know, we're filming this on literally the day after. It's all still quite raw at the moment. You know, I hope that I can look back on this a few months or so down the line and just be like, that was a good tournament. We played well. We did amazing. And a first final. That's the other thing to say. First final major tournament for 55 years is crazy.
And you know what? Like, the squad is so young. Like, no one was expecting them to perform like they did. And like, they're obviously such a great bunch and gel so well. Like, I really hope Southgate obviously stays and these lot like gel.
I hope he's able to help them over this as well, because the penalty misses for such young players. I mean, you forget how young Rashford is sometimes because he's been around forever. But you know, Rashford, Sancho, Saka,
and you know what? Like, Italy had to say, like, just because it's such fine margins, you know, Jorginho, who is probably one of the best penalty takers there is, didn't score.
So Pickford Adam.
So the fact that like Sancho, Rashford, and Saka didn't score is like irrelevant. Like, the fact that they stepped up and were like brave enough to do it, like fair play.
The thing is, they clearly can take penalties. That's why they were chosen. That's why they put their hands up, right? And in an alternate universe, right, Southgate brings two, you know, phenomenal penalty takers onto the pitch, 4 penalties, and he looks like a genius because we win, right? Back to the, was it Tim Krul got brought on for the Netherlands and was it the World Cup or the Euros? I can't remember which one. And it was like, oh my god, he's the specialist penalty saver, and he saved 2, and it's like, he looks like a genius. What an unbelievable decision. We could be here saying that now, and it, like you say, it's those so fine margins, because Italy weren't fantastic. Yes, they controlled the game. Yes, they had a lot of possession, but I mean, ultimately, they've got into the game by a scrappy goal, and we've not lost the game in normal time. We've lost the game by penalties, which is such a horrible way to win or lose a game.
Although we got to the semi-final of the World Cup, still no one's expecting us to get to the final, and I think that, you know, there's such a good, really cohesive core playing now. You think about when we're coming towards you know, the World Cup, arguably the places in that squad where we had our 2 oldest players is right back, and arguably that's the place that England are strongest as far as, like, you know, the youth go forward. You've got Trent, James, and Wan-Bissaka, all 3 of them ready to step up and battle for that shirt.
It's also important to note, we're talking about, you know, players' experience and whether they'll make the next World Cup and stuff like that. It's only next year.
2 tournaments in a row, you know, semi-final and then final. Like, clearly
it's a progression.
Building up steam.
France, out and out favourites. Portugal were up there as another like team that should have won it, kind of thing. And they didn't get as far as us. Like, Italy were kind of in the talks of like, they'll be good, but you know, they got 2 of the most experienced centre backs going. Like, our group of players will have like this experience now and go on and build from that.
Chiesa looked really threatening for a lot of it, until he eventually came off, but he was their biggest threat.
He's been simultaneously one of the players and one of the tournament. He was an absolute in that. Good lord.
Why has he been such
I mean, classic sort of diving, classic rolling around, classic sort of classic one of those.
He's an Italian winger, so, you know.
I mean, it comes
so
with the
many
territory.
factors there that I see Tom Cruise was in attendance.
He was
last night.
everywhere. He was at Wimbledon as well.
He was at Wimbledon, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was at the Wimbledon final earlier in the day and got some sort
time.
of Mission Impossible style helicopter over, probably.
Do you think he just did a running montage?
Yeah.
Somebody tweeted that it was his job to drive the tiny car onto the pitch.
He nearly hit Sterling. Did you see that as it came onto the pitch? Yeah, he did a little what? Like a move out of the way.
It's not something you want to look away from. You're under a lot of pressure there.
What do you think of the refereeing? Because I was getting very annoyed.
Yeah.
There's so many tactical fouls that just went unpunished, and that
the worst one was the
Grealish incident as well.
Well, Grealish one was worse, but the clothesline was pretty bad as well.
Clothesline was mental.
I mean, it's one of those things that somehow you can understand why it's only a yellow in football. But if it happens off the pitch, he's going to jail.
Yeah.
But how was that? Challenge on Grealish not endangering the opponent.
What's infuriating about that as well is that there have been Ethan Ampadu earlier in the tournament was sent off for a very similar studs over the top tackle.
Yeah.
And
nowhere near as much contact.
Nowhere near as much contact. Yeah, but at the time about that one, they said they're clamping down on those type of challenges. They're really being harsh on this, specifically this tournament. They're making an effort to clamp down on those challenges, right? And here, I mean, it's a much worse contact from Jorginho. And I'm not saying Jorginho meant to stamp on Grealish's knee, because clearly his foot comes off the ball and goes straight into him. He's not trying to do that. But if you're going to punish those challenges, if you say that's what you're doing, then it's inconsistent to not punish it.
What were your highlights of the tournament now that it's totally wrapped up? Let's look at on the silver lining, bright side of things, even from an England perspective.
For me, it's not necessarily football related, but Boxpark, I thought the talent they got in for each game, like the fact they had Atomic Kitten there singing Southgate, You're the One. I mean, they had Barry from Extras singing as well on another week. Like, you got Danny Dyer and Will Mellor on another week. Like, it was sensational. And like, they even had Barnes just doing his rap.
Yeah.
No way.
Whoever's in charge of like the booking agent for Boxpark, like
they can take a bow, son.
They've done a great job. What a tournament! What a tournament for them. Yeah.
Like, they smashed it. Like, week on week, you're like, surely you can't top Danny Dyer, and then they bring out Barry. And you're like, oh Jesus,
They're the kind of moments, they're the kind of nice things that you want to remember from this. Like the Badin and Skinner in the crowd at Denmark, and everyone sort of serenading them and like singing their song. Sweet Caroline at the end of Denmark game. Like,
hats off to the Wembley DJ.
Yeah.
Like, they felt like they needed Sweet Caroline, and I released it. And just didn't know what was coming. Yeah, he's really giving it like he's like.
I can imagine him in there.
Invented the wheel.
I did quite enjoy as well when England scored the video of Roy Keane carefully taking the cups of tea off the desk in case
that was sensational.
Completely phased by what was going on. Focus on the spillage.
Do you know what I do think that is one sad thing we didn't get from this tournament is another new song.
Yeah,
I feel like all the good songs were kind of recycled from
2018.
From 2018, you know, that's one thing. Every England fan watching out there, we need new songs for the World Cup.
Need like some noughties kind of like one hit wonder that we can just whack a couple of.
Surely Saka's easy to get in some song, isn't it?
Is there anything we can do with Chico time?
Right, I'll get cracking. I think I've got
Sakarena.
Yeah.
I've got a guitar here. So
Is it
all
in tune?
right, let's jam this out. It's okay.
In tune, yeah.
I know some Radiohead for to match the depressing mood.
Go on.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, that is depressing.
It's literally the most depressing song possible.
It doesn't lend itself to a
we
chant,
weren't
does it?
sad enough already.
Musical interlude. I don't think we've ever had that on Coach.
No.
That's a first for what is, the final episode.
Should be a new
of this
segment.
series.
But first for the last.
Yeah, we really took our time with that.
A couple of my mates queued to go to a pub, didn't get in, and just ended up buying tickets to Wembley and just went to the game. Imagine that.
Really?
So didn't get into the pub, so just gonna buy tickets to the game. Silly money. I heard.
Right.
I heard it
imagine.
was silly money.
Yeah.
So how many figures? Did you go to 4 or not?
Yeah.
It's
I
brilliant.
believe so. Yeah.
It's that eternal debate, isn't it? Right, where it's obviously would have been incredible to be there, but also you want to watch it with your mates in a boozer as well, right?
I'd be quite content with to be in a good pub with a good crowd. Really,
Yeah.
It would have been great to be there if you win, but I think it's better to not be there if you
Well, that trip back from Wembley, I couldn't think of anything worse.
Yeah.
After that result, I mean, I got a train from Canonbury back to my house last night, and I'm pretty sure there was grown men crying on the train. It was like very, solemn.
Dream team wise, I mean, like England were a great performer throughout the tournament as well.
Yeah.
I mean, their defense was smashing for most of it.
Did Shaw take over from Ronaldo? Yeah, he did. 54 points.
Well, there we go. Luke Shaw, you could
Luke Shaw, best player of the Euros.
You could absolutely make an argument for it, and I think it's so interesting that there would have been a good chance that he might not have played because he didn't play the first game because Mings played. He came in for the second one and played okay. He wasn't amazing in the second one. Scotland was probably our worst actual performance of the whole tournament. And then the third game, if Southgate had gone, I don't think Shaw did very well, he brings Chilwell in. He can't bring Chilwell in because Chilwell and Mount had to isolate.
Yeah.
After the Billy Gilmore incident, and suddenly Shaw comes alive. It's back to these fine margins, and he's had the tournament of his life, and has made Jose Mourinho very sad,
which has made me very happy. I mean, I've been in love with Luke Shaw.
I know you have. You have been such a Luke Shaw apologist, and for so long you've been sort of proved right, but not really. But in the last season or so, and particularly this tournament, I mean, you must, be
finally, people are realising that he is one of the best left backs in the world.
He has been fantastic.
Anyone know who got the most goals in the tournament? Any guesses?
Yeah, Ronnie, isn't it?
Still Ronaldo, I think, wasn't it, in the end?
Yeah. And
tied with Schick.
Although I think Ronaldo gets the golden boot because he had an assist, which doesn't seem quite right.
Really? That contributes to it?
Yeah, it had him top of the list when I looked at it, like properly top.
Yeah.
Which didn't seem right at all as far as I'm concerned. I've got this ongoing thing with some friends of mine where, so a couple of them are really big into their American sports, and in hockey,
there's a hockey assist, isn't it?
Well, they discuss like assists and goals as part of the same thing almost. Like an assist is as important as a goal. So they call it points. So one of them said to me after the Prem season had finished, they were like, "How many points did Harry Kane get?" And I was like, "What the f- are you talking about?" My reaction to that is like, "Yeah, how many points did he get? That's goals and assists together. Like you can't call it that. What is that? You can't make those a thing, but you absolutely can. Stick with me." They realised that my main gripe with it was that sounded far too American. So now when we're talking about goals and assists, they're like, "How many puntos has he got?" Because it sounds a bit Spanish, sounds a bit Italian, bit of flair to it. How many puntos did Harry Kane get last season? Oh, it was something like 30-something, I think, yeah. It works.
Puntos. That means Luke Shaw got 4 puntos this tournament.
He got 4 puntos in this tournament, yeah. 3 assists and a goal, 4 puntos.
Pickford got Golden Glove, didn't he? But doesn't actually exist.
Yeah. It's not officially a thing in the Euros. No. I hadn't realised that either.
Yeah, and Donnarumma got player of the tournament.
I didn't think he was amazing, though.
But if you think about tactically what he stopped us from doing, right? Ukraine, we scored 2 great set pieces where we lobbed it into Maguire. 3, sorry, if you want to count the Henderson. Yeah, lobbed it in, got a great header, right? And I think we could have beaten Bonucci and Chiellini in the air. But when you've got a sort of 6'7" or whatever he is, massive keeper, launching himself into the air, picking everything out.
Yeah, he was so good. And you could see as well that we were then trying, all right, we've got to hit it to the back stick and someone's got to pull around and
nod it back.
Yeah, he just completely dominated the area.
Where's Donnarumma? Because isn't he getting a transfer? Is it?
He's a free agent.
PSG.
Yeah, I don't know where he's headed, but maybe. I mean,
it's somewhere big, I presume.
Fabrizio Romano tweeted this morning that it's basically done deal to PSG. Just needs to he's just going to go up high.
But who's the PSG keeper currently? Because
is it not Navas?
Yeah, it's Navas.
Madrid.
Like you'd be gutted, wouldn't you, if you're Navas? It's like
But yeah, no, Navas, you're right. Yeah, I mean, it took him ages to become the number one at Madrid.
Yeah,
and then
Courtois comes
in and takes over from him, and he goes, "All right, well, I'll go to PSG then." And it took him a little while to even get out from behind Buffon when he was there, and then he was like, "Right, finally he's gone. I can be the main man." And now they're replacing him with the Buffon football manager regen. Donnarumma.
Well, that's all from us, folks. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Dream Team Coach TV. This is our final episode of Dream Team Coach TV for a while. So in the meantime, take care. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.